Hello again, everybody. Travis Big League Berardi coming to you from OH Report World Headquarters in Mansfield, Ohio, with another edition of your area stat leaders through week number 8. Your leading passers, receivers, and rushers. And how about the Guardians? Last time you saw me on the stat leaders, I was ready for hockey season because it looked like the Guardians were done. Offense wasn't doing anything, and they were done. But they surprised me, they surprised Andy Jardy, they surprised a lot of people, win the next two, including knocking out the Cy Young Award winner that will be announced later here in the next couple of weeks. And they're playing in the ALCS, one step away from the World Series. So it is still baseball season here in North Central Ohio, and it is still football season as we are here again to bring you your stat leaders. And let's get right into things and take a look at the passing leaders through week number 8 of the football regular season. And just like last week, he is still number 1, and that is Braden DeVito of the Shelby Whippets, leading things with 2,244 passing yards. That's just under 20 yards per completion and 18 touchdowns to once again lead the way for the number 6 rated Shelby Whippets. They take on number 8 Ontario on Friday night, the game of the year in the area. Chase Ebert of River Valley, number 2 with 2,130. 19 touchdowns for him. Nicholas Parks of Seneca East still leads the Northern 10 with 1,866 passing yards on 117 completions and 20 touchdowns. Nathan Bernhard of Ashland, number 4 with a phenomenal performance this past week. He is now at 1,857 passing yards and 19 touchdowns. Morgan Smith of West Holmes moving up. He's now 5th at 1,691. Northmore's A.J. Bauer, only 2 touchdown passes this past week, but it was enough to hold off Mount Gilead 16-14. He is tied for the area lead with 21 touchdown passes and just over 1,600 yards at 1,602. Hillsdale's Cale Lewis at number 7, 1,534 and 17 touchdowns. Highlands' Colton Stover at 8, 1,526 passing yards, just behind Lewis on 110 completions, just under 14 yards per completion. Mohawk's Ben Bogner, 1,435 yards and 21 touchdowns to Ty Bauer. And Western Reserve's Hayden Keith at 10th, 1,373 yards for the Rough Riders. So there are your top 10 passers in the area. But who are the guys that catch those balls? Most of them you will see right here, the top 10 receiving leaders through week 8. And Taylor Young leads the way, 804 receiving yards, 10 touchdowns, just ahead of Brady Bowman, 762. He's trying to catch up. He has 6 touchdowns. He's averaging over 21 yards per reception and 6 touchdowns. Kane Heyman of Mohawk sitting at 3rd at 656 yards on 35 catches. 9 touchdowns for him. Eli Snyder of River Valley, 648 yards and 5 touchdowns. Seneca East Bryler Beamer at number 5 with 632 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns. Luke Axline of River Valley, Seneca East and River Valley, both with multiple receivers in the lineup, as well as Shelby once again this week. Axline 576 yards and the 6 scores. Ashland's Gabe Baith, 567 receiving yards on 4 scores. Loudonville's Josiah Hirschberger still leads the KMAC with 560 receiving yards. Only 2 touchdowns, though. Hillsdale's Holland Young at 543, and Shelby's Nick Eister rounds out the top 10 with 538 yards. So you got to be over 525 yards through 8 weeks just to be even thought of to get into the top 10. We've seen a lot more passing in the area this year, but for most schools, especially the small schools, this is about rushing here in North Central Ohio. The KMAC does it, the Northern 10 does it, the Firelands does it. So let's take a look at those top 10 rushers, and you'll see a couple MOAC squads in there as well. But Wyatt Denny of Cardington has surpassed the likes of Elliott and Miller this week. He is at 1,229 yards, the leading rusher in the area this week on 13 touchdowns, over 8.75 yards per carry. Bogton Miller has officially become a member of the 1,000-yard club. He has over 1,000 yards passing and 1,000 yards rushing, averaging over 11 yards per carry with 12 scores. Blake Elliott of East Knox, still in the top 3 at 1,155 yards. Fredericktown quarterback Blake Sipes in 4th at 1,126 rushing yards and 14 rushing scores. Anthony Evans of Winford, now a 1,000-yard rusher at 1,033 yards and 10 scores. Monroeville's Evan Benfer, another 1,000-yard rusher, the quarterback at 1,029 and 17 rushing touchdowns for the state-ranked Eagles, who are still undefeated. Eli Steen bringing Cary back, baby. They have a chance now at another Northern 10 championship. He's at 995 yards, so just under it. He will most likely break the 1,000-yard mark here in week number 9. He has 12 rushing touchdowns. Connor McMichael, the same for him. He's at 984 for Colonel Crawford in 15 scores. Shelby's Braden DeVito. DeVito versus Miller. You're going to see a lot of yards in this game on Friday night, passing and rushing from these two phenomenal athletes, and the winner will have an upper hand at a Mr. Football nomination because these two kids are just great. They're just outstanding quarterbacks here in the area. That game, it's got to be a shootout, and everybody's looking forward to that on Friday night at Shelby. And Ontario's Mason Van Tilburg might have something to say about it as well. Just under 800 yards. You'll see him get some carries against the Whippets as well with 13 total touchdowns. So there you have it. This week's top 10 rushers, receivers, and passers in North Central Ohio. And most of those names, their teams have shots at the playoffs coming up. But still, 2 weeks to go to make some noise and move up and down the ranks. And like I said, Shelby, Ontario, Friday night. We'll have a highlight for you, and we will show you highlights on the Friday Night Pigskin at about 11:30 this Friday evening. Also, for you folks, you fans out there, you coaches, your players, if you do not see your name in there, and it should be, email me. There's my email right there, travis@oh.report. Give me your season stats. I will put them into our system, and if they make it into the top 10, you will be in the top 10 next week for week 9. The most important one, just have your stuff in before the week 10 leaders, because those are the final ones, and if you want to have your name in there for a possibility of being the rushing, receiving, or passing champion, got to get those stats in. But that'll do it for me. One more week in the books. We got 2 more to go here for the stat leaders, and also in a week and a half, once again, I'll do the playoff breakdown here for you on the OH Report. But that'll do it for me. We'll see you at a football field near you, and go Guardians.